sports and TV show streams going live on YouTube. Streaming live on YouTube. Okay, I'm going to put my iPad. I think the camera's in the wrong position. So I'll go switch it to front camera, so because otherwise you wouldn't be able to see the TV. First off, this is an iptv service, and I will give you the username and the password, and I'm going to show you how to install it. If you have file linked on your Fire Stick, then you use the code 298-52566. See, I was already in Envision TV. So, like, they're being nice to people because of the coronavirus. Okay, now I'm going to leave this on the video so you can, like, pause the video to see the code 298-52566. And you can write the code down or pause the video. So, see, now I go to it, you click on dismiss, so you do the one right here, Envision TV Box Pro, and actually that arrow will turn into a play after it's completely installed. But I already have it installed on my Fire Stick, so I'm just going to go to the app. Oh, wait. I got to go to Your Apps and Channels. And then I go to See All, and the app should be at the very bottom. And I will move it to the front. See? Envision TV. So there's options, move to front, or uninstall. But I won't be uninstalling it until April 29th. See, Envision TV. See, it expires now, like, with this service for free. See how I go to settings. Oh, wait. No, count, yeah. See? April 29th. It's not a trial. There are 57 active connections. See, because Big Siga put this on YouTube and he has a connection, then I have a connection because you use the username FreeView. See the username up here? Just type in FREEVIEW after you install it. See, there's like maximum connections is 2,000. So it's not free IPTV for a month for everybody like Big Siga made you think, but it's limited to 2,000 people. But me and 55 other people that subscribe to Big Siga's channel have it. Now, like, there's no movies with this, and there's no series. So if I go into it, see, no series found. Well, I think if you do the paid version, you might be able to get a series or movies. But there are a bunch of other apps where you can download movies and TV shows and stream movies and TV shows. So it's not a deal breaker. So, and the password for this is Corona. No, wait, it's COVID 19. So it's COVID 19. And the file link code again is 298-52566. And Big Sigga was just showing you live TV. He wasn't showing you the catch-up section. Now, the catch-up section is not the largest catch-up section. It only has 130 out of the 1,000 plus channels. But I mean, I've seen catch-up have like over 900 or over 1,000. So not the biggest catch-up, but they do have a lot of good catch-ups in USA Entertainment, and they have it to interest me. See, you know, like catch-up that interests me. Would be Get TV. Let's see. You gotta go scroll down very far to Get TV. Like Cozy Cooking, those are interesting channels. They have Up TV as a catch-up. That's interesting. There's Get TV. See, they have it today, which is, and then yesterday, March 24th. I guess they don't have it the whole day there, you know, because I don't see Rescue 911 there. But, okay, now, let's see. There's Rescue 911 from today. Let's see. The only downside is they don't, but, you know, since I post Rescue 911 videos on YouTube, I will show you a whole video. And kill, you know, two birds with one stone. Put a Rescue 911 video up here. Now I can't announce what the episode was because it doesn't say.
911, a frantic call for help.
My 4-year-old son is choking to death.
A panicked woman puts her child's life in the hands of a 911 operator.
Child's still unconscious. I still have the mother on the phone.
It's a life-threatening race against the clock. Plus, a toxic fire traps a family in an upstairs apartment.
I need to get him out and get him out quick.
Be there as officers save lives on Rescue 911.
Now see, this is playing in catch-up. It's playing pretty good.
John Luther and his wife Kay tried to make their home in Honeoye, New York, a place where their children could thrive and have fun growing up. But on the evening of April 12th, 1992, they were reminded just how quickly a child's playfulness can unexpectedly get out of hand.
It was about 6 o'clock on a Sunday evening. Shane and Kyle were wrestling with me.
Hey guys, stop the wrestling.
The house was quite cluttered with toys, so I decided I'd pick up the house.
Come on, boys.
When you're a mother, you kind of listen, you know, where they're at and what they're up to.
Hey, Kyle, try this.
Shane, I heard him say to Kyle, "Kyle, try this." I spun around to see just what he was showing Kyle to do.
Shane.
All of a sudden, he knew he couldn't breathe.
What I saw was that Shane was gasping, kind of stamping his feet. I hit him probably 2 or 3 times on the back. That didn't work. My next reaction was to give him a Heimlich move. The hitting on the back, the Heimlich, wasn't working.
Kelly Fire Ambulance.
Yes, this is Kay Luther, 126 Lake Road. My 4-year-old son is choking to death. There's something in his throat and we can't get it out.
Stay on the phone. I want to get an ambulance started.
He's like,
I'm going to get an ambulance started. All right, give me a red line going 126 Lake Road.
Help was immediately dispatched, but the advanced life support paramedics were 25 miles away at the hospital. When we continue.
Okay, now I'm gonna try
She
to
said something about blood.
fast
They were giving
forward
blood.
through the
So I knew
commercial.
This isn't right. The Heimlich.
For a 4-year-old choking.
With the paramedics en route, EMTs for the Honeoye Richmond Volunteer Rescue Squad got the ambulance from a local station and headed for the scene.
You know the Heimlich method? Okay, you need to try it?
try again.
Try it again. Put the hands, put his fists under the ribs, right into the abdomen, and bring them inward and upward. Okay.
She said something about blood coming. They were giving blood, and so I knew this isn't right.
Is the child conscious?
Is he conscious then? No, barely.
Okay. Try it again.
Try it again. Now he's doing mouth to mouth.
Okay. You know how to do mouth to mouth?
Yeah.
All right, can you get his mouth open and clear out whatever might be in it?
He get his mouth open and get out whatever's no, he can't. His teeth are clenched.
All right.
You reading that, honey?
Assistant Fire Chief John Mason and his wife Sandy were closest to the scene.
Reported 4-year-old choking.
Our tones went off, saying that there was a baby choking at 126, and I live at 131.
Okay. I think there's going to be a medic coming in your front door right now.
Yeah, they're here.
Okay. You will go talk to them.
The thing that concerned me with this one, I think, the Heimlich method, which usually works, was not working.
I tried the Heimlich maneuver and nothing seems to be working. It won't come out.
I tried to open his mouth to see an obstruction, and he proceeded to bite me and then locked up his jaw.
Yeah, he's still breathing. No.
Shane did not want anybody messing with him. You know, everybody was trying to do things to him, push on his stomach, hitting his back. John, he says, we're not going to lose you, we're not going to lose you. And at that point, I knew that he was in really big trouble.
I would say I was in a state of panic at that point. I felt absolutely helpless. And it's probably the first time in 25 years in the fire service that I felt that way because of not being able to correct the situation.
As the ambulance headed for the hospital, they radioed to the advanced life support unit to take the same route so they could meet on the way. Among the rescuers treating the little boy was EMT Lee Stant.
We tried the Heimlich maneuver as an abdominal thrust. It just didn't do anything.
His lips are blue. His fingers are getting blue. He's just getting oxygen. That's all there is to it.
I've been on a lot of calls. Sometimes a feeling will come over you where you know something tragic's going to happen to that person. In fact, sometimes you can almost predict that they're going to die.
10 miles from the hospital, the advanced life support unit met up at the ambulance. When paramedic Bernie Levitt took over Shane's care, he had been choking for 14 minutes.
When I first jumped on board, I thought that I could go in there and get that object out and get him breathing again. But he was completely lifeless. He was blue as could be. Basically, he was on board. He had this very fearful look in his face. And I can tell a lot by looking at the crew. And I couldn't see anything but vocal cords. I tried to intubate the child and pass the tube through the cords, and then it would stop, like I was coming up against a brick wall with the intubation tube. The slower his heart rate went, the faster I could feel my pounding through my chest.
I think the scariest moment was when he went into respiratory arrest. He just was not breathing anymore. There was no air exchange at all. I've been doing this for 26, 27 years. It's a long time, and you're bound to see kids get killed. It doesn't set well with you. When you see a youngster in a situation like that, or
his heart rate slowed down to 40, and I knew with another 60 seconds, he'd been cardiac arrest. At that point, I decided to do a needle cricothyrotomy. Basically, it's where you take an IV catheter needle and you stick it through his neck, and then you ventilate through that needle directly into his lungs. I've never done it on a human being before.
Okay, ready? Here we go.
as soon as the supplemental oxygen was getting in through the needle, it just like turned the light on almost immediately.
I could hear my monitor in the background slowly picking up, going faster and faster and faster. I could see his lips were getting bright red again. I could feel a feeling of relief over myself, but I knew that the child wasn't out of the woods yet.
The peg, shaped like a golf tee, was still lodged deep in 4-year-old Shane's throat when he was admitted to Thompson Hospital and put under the care of emergency physician Tom Benzelli.
What happened to the young man is once he got this in his throat, it oriented so the tip was pointing down his airway. As he took a breath in, it would get sucked into his airway, and eventually it lodged there. Dad may well have made a difference with his Heimlich, because he may have been able to dislodge this, perhaps not remove it, but dislodge it enough to let his child get a few more gasps of air.
He started screaming at the top of his lungs, and I'll tell you what, that was music to my ears. I stood up, I said, "He's okay."
Shane Luther suffered no permanent injuries, but he came away from the incident a changed kid.
Shane's a wiser little boy, very cautious of what he plays with, what his little brother plays with. If Kyle tries to put something in his mouth, Shane's right there, takes it right away from him.
It's not always a happy ending that everybody sees, like on TV. The first thing I thought of as I was working here was my own child.
How you doing?
Being a father myself, thinking about the father sitting up there, looking completely shocked, I could feel what he was feeling inside.
I learned to respect the ambulance crew and the other volunteers. I've learned a lot more about what Bernie does and how much of a volunteer he is. Without Bernie, there probably wouldn't be a Shane.
Thank you for getting that toy out of my throat. Don't play with those toys anymore because they're small.
Next,
The heat was so intense you couldn't get out the door. The only way out was the small bedroom windows, approximately 25 and 30.
Just trying to skip through the commercial.
And a free ASPCA t-shirt.
The animals are in really dire situations. They're suffering, and they're suffering badly. The outcome for animals who don't get rescued is very bleak. The suffering continues, and for a lot of those animals, the ending is imminent. They won't survive.
If you've wondered if your support will make a difference, I can tell you, it will. And if you've ever thought about helping, this is the time. The animals who need us can't wait any longer. It's only 63 cents a day. Please go online or call before it's too late.
In the next minute, an animal who's been cruelly abused by 3 cents a day. And I can tell you, you will make a difference. So I'm asking you, please, visit our easy-to-use website on any device or call this toll-free number now. And if you join in the next 10 minutes, we'll send you this membership kit. It comes with a magazine subscription, an animal photo, and this limited edition Animal Champion t-shirt designed exclusively for our new monthly supporters. Please go online or call now and don't delay, because there's an animal being abused right now, and the next minute of their life could really depend on you.
Extra, extra. It's the Get TV newsletter featuring star interviews, fun facts, and schedule highlights. Sign up today at Get.tv.
On the morning of September 17th, 1991, Tammy Lomax and her two small children were asleep at their apartment complex in Lago Vista, Texas, when she suddenly awoke to a nightmare that every parent fears.
Apparently the mother was asleep in bed with her 3-year-old son, and she awoke to find that the room was full of heavy smoke and heat.
Honey, come here. Holly?
She had another child in the second bedroom.
Holly?
The heat was so intense she couldn't get out the door. The only way out was the small bedroom windows that were approximately 25 to 30 feet above the ground.
Apartment manager Gussie McBride had just returned home from her morning walk.
I was in my office and I heard someone calling for help. I saw Tammy hanging out the window and with smoke coming out, and it just scared me to death.
Can you get to the kid?
She was very scared that she wasn't going to get out, and she was really concerned about the little girl because she was in another bedroom.
Can you get out? No, don't jump.
And she says, I'm going to jump. And I says, no, don't jump. Let me go call in.
Hold on, I'm going to go call the fire department.
The smoke was really boiling out the window, and it really scared me because I didn't know what I was going to do, because I knew it was going to take time for the fire department to get here.
Gussie's call for help was relayed to the town's all-volunteer fire department.
Lago Vista Fire Department, structure fire, Lago Vista Way and Donald Drive.
The first volunteers to arrive on the scene were EMT Jean Reno and her partner.
I was not prepared for this at all, because we thought that it was just going to be a structure fire, and we did not know that people were trapped.
Fire department's on its way. We're going to get
It was a long way to jump, and that's why we encouraged her not to try to jump.
While the EMTs looked for a ladder, Lago Vista police officer Tony Estes arrived.
The lady said she wanted to jump. I told her, stay, I'll try to get you out the front. I checked the doorknob. It wasn't hot. There was heavy smoke and heat, very toxic. I could see approximately 2 to 3 feet. There was no way I could get in the front of the apartment. I needed to get him out and get him out quick. That's when I thought of my patrol car.
Volunteer firefighter Jim Tully got to the scene almost immediately.
She was willing to lower the child down to us, but he was putting up a struggle. The building itself was almost to the point of flashover, which basically means that everything in the building was to the extent of becoming so hot to where even the air catches on fire. I know if I was that young, being held out a two-story window upside down, I'd be pretty scared myself.
Okay. We've got him. All right, we got him. Okay. All right, we got him. Take him down. All right.
I told the lady to turn around and hold on to the window and lower herself down, and I would catch her.
That's it, we'll catch you. All right. Okay, we got you. Turn it. Okay.
Coming down off the patrol cars when she told me she had another baby that was trapped in another bedroom.
761 PD, we still have people in the fire.
I looked up at the window where the other baby was supposed to be, and I couldn't see anything. But I really didn't think we'd get the baby out. I didn't think that we had time.
Well, just come on over here.
There's just an awful feeling. I just wanted to hurry up and get her out.
There she is. She's on the left. See her little hand?
Within 5 minutes of the call, the engine company arrived, led by Captain M.J. Duke.
There were several people yelling at me as I got out of the truck. There was a little girl still up in the bedroom over to the left. I really don't even know how she was still conscious because the heat and the smoke was so bad. When you have that much smoke in a building where it's starting to come out of the cracks, you know that it's pretty well saturated in there, even down to floor level. I didn't put on self-contained breathing apparatus because I knew the time was real crucial. I was afraid of getting glass on her, so I moved over one window. When I heard the thump, it sounded like something falling off the couch. My heart about dropped because I was afraid that she might have fallen and might not be able to get back up. And I knew there was no way that I could reach her from where I was had she fallen off the couch.
See her? I can't see her anywhere. Here, little girl. Over to me.
All I could do was stand there and wait for him to get Holly out. I actually thought, she's not going to make it. We're over here together and we're going to get out and she's not going to get out. It was... I didn't even want to think about it.
All of a sudden, she stood up there in front of me. She didn't even look like a real child. She looked almost like a baby doll that had a lot of soot on it.
It's okay. It's okay.
Once I got her down below off the ladder, she stopped breathing.
When I first was handed the child, she was in very bad shape. She was lifeless. I was just struck by how hot her body was.
Hey, lady, wake up, baby. Holly. Holly, wake up, wake up. Wake up, Holly. Come on, Holly. Come on.
Within, I would say, 5 minutes, she did open her eyes. It was an incredible feeling to know that the baby was really breathing. We felt pretty confident that she was going to make it.
Being on a volunteer fire department like I am, the only thing that you receive from it is just gratification. I always said if I could ever just save one life, it would make it all worth it, and it truly does. When I pulled her out, I couldn't have felt any better if I'd been handed $1 million.
Tammy Lomax and her 2 children were treated and released the same day. According to fire investigators, the blaze was caused by a smoldering cigarette. Two months later, the Lomax family has begun to put the painful memories behind them.
I don't know what I would have done if I lost Holly. If it wasn't for the fire department and the volunteers and the policemen and everybody, I don't think we would have made it out. They really worked hard and fast. And I'm just grateful to all of them.
Her husband, Mike, is also grateful.
When I see my kids today, I look and just see how lucky I am. Because, I could not have them out in the yard watching them play. I thank God that they're safe and when they're still here.
Something good did come from this. The volunteer fireman, Jim Tully, that helped the policeman rescue us, were real good friends.
They're
with him
having
and his wife
pizza.
and his little
I
girl.
love
We see each
pizza.
other just about every day.
The most important lesson to be learned here is be careful with cigarette smoking, because anything could happen. If there had been a smoke detector in this building, they probably could have gotten out before it turned into a life-threatening situation.
I think it's really important to have smoke detectors in your house, apartment, condo, whatever you live in, because it could save your life. When I see my kids today, I just thank God.
I think that's the end. Let's see. There's more catch-up. Ovation, Turner Classic Movies. I guess that's it on the catch-up. But actually, I will show the rest of the Rescue 911 episode, because there probably isn't much left. But I'll just go to this next one. Let's see. Was I at the third one?
This is 911. Do you have an emergency?
Today on Rescue 911, trapped beneath the snow.
Just started digging where I thought the window would be.
An avalanche buries a plow operator alive.
He seemed to be deteriorating fast almost.
Be there as rescuers dig furiously to free the victim from the frozen wreckage. Plus, will this frantic call save a child clinging to life? On Rescue 911.
So many dangers are unforeseen. The fear of confronting them can become overwhelming. I'm William Shatner. Tonight, true stories of heroes and victims who, despite all odds, never give up on Rescue 911. We begin in the dead of winter in Jackson, Wyoming, where a series of storms in early 1988 had created hazardous conditions in the Grand Teton Mountains.
Teton Pass connects Idaho and Wyoming. It can be a dangerous road in the wintertime with the avalanche conditions.
The most dangerous stretch of the road runs under Glory Bowl, an area particularly prone to avalanches. On January 11th, 1988, a violent winter storm was blanketing the area with heavy snow. The Wyoming Highway Department dispatched snowplow driver Don Fisher to clear the roads. Supervisor Jack Oakley was also on duty that morning.
Don's been up there a long time and had a lot of experience dealing with the slides, and he's plowed Teton Pass maybe 13 to 15 years.
The threat of an avalanche increases dramatically with high winds and heavy snowfall. So Jack decided to close down Teton Pass. Before Don left the mountain, he radioed that he was going to check on a stranded motorist he had spotted earlier. Rotary plow driver Ernie Potter was dispatched to help close the road.
I just felt that there was a real good chance that we was going to have slides that day up there.
Aware of the threat of an avalanche, Don stopped as he approached Glory Bowl to make sure it was safe to drive past it. when we continue.
I was scared of what I'd find, but I had to go look. I had to go down and see if he was still alive.
On for 20 plus years now. He's a great guy. He's kind of the father of the bunch around here. He's just a good leader and a good friend. I kind of knew in my mind what the problem was, I thought, and it's scary. You know, I just kind of had a sick feeling in my stomach and just hoping for the best. We got just about to Glory Bowl and run into a slide that we couldn't get through with the pickup. Chuck, he said he was going to run on up and take a look.
Russ radioed back to the dispatcher that they needed some assistance to clear the road.
I walked up on the road and saw that Glory Bowl had slid. Looked at it, walked up on it, and looked the downhill side of it. That's when I saw the front bumper and the lug nuts from the truck. I was scared of what I'd find, but I had to go look.
Don!
So I moved down and dug down far enough to find the door frame and get oriented to where I could start digging down through the passenger side window. The snow was packed in tight.
Don!
His right hand popped up. It came up and he just shook it. I knew he was still alive then.
You all right, buddy? We're gonna get you out of there.
It made me want to work faster. Get down, get his head uncovered. I was afraid that hypothermia would beat me.
When Ernie arrived in the rotary plow, he was still unaware that his friend and fellow driver, Don, was buried in the avalanche.
When I pulled up, I could see the Glory Bowl had run. And I was looking around, I looked over to my left. So I called Jack on the radio and I says, Chuck says he's found him and he's alive, get help.
The emergency response teams of volunteers from all over Teton County were immediately dispatched to the scene.
Hang on, we got help coming.
Chuck had Don's face uncovered when I got there.
You okay, buddy?
He was conscious. He was pretty much out of it. He didn't say much. His color was gray. His eyes were glassy.
Hold on.
He hollered at me and wanted to know if I had a short shovel. That particular day, all I had was about a 3-pound coffee can.
I think he just had a little room that he could breathe. His body heat melted the snow away from him enough that he had just a little bit of oxygen there.
Hold on there, Don.
We just knew that we had to get Don out of there as quick as we could. The snow was extremely packed. You just couldn't hardly dig it at all. And we finally decided we had to get the door open in order to get more room to get him free.
2 hours after Don had been buried by the avalanche, members of the Teton County Sheriff's Department arrived under the direction of Sheriff Roger Millward.
The snow sets up like cement, and it's slowly compressing tighter and tighter on him. His ability to breathe and his ability to move is almost nil. You can see that the hypothermia is setting in. We weren't sure of what his injuries were.
The volunteer fire department arrived, led by Rolf Belden.
I joined him in the cab, tried to talk to him, keep him alert. He didn't know his name, he didn't know where he was, couldn't really talk to me in a way that you can understand.
Volunteer firefighter Jim Tucker had never worked an avalanche rescue before.
We were in the extrication about an hour. Somebody mentioned his name, Don. And I just, oh my God, this is my neighbor. I seemed to just like shift gears. I just went faster. The whole thing kind of got to me a little bit because I knew we couldn't get him out. Got so tired, everybody was just getting tired when they couldn't shovel anymore. We had to keep going.
It had been 4 hours since Don was buried in the snow.
We had to dig clear down almost to his ankles before we got him free. He seemed to be deteriorating fast on us. Once your body core temperature reaches, I believe it's about 80 degrees, recoveries are a lot harder.
Okay, here coming Navi, guys. We finally got him out. I felt real relief finally, but I was really apprehensive about whether he was going to make it.
When they finally got Don out, his body core temperature had dropped below 85 degrees. The rewarming process was begun immediately.
Things were looking pretty grim at this stage.
Don was taken to St. John's Hospital, where he was treated by Dr. Brent Blue.
When a person is below 90 degrees Fahrenheit, he's in the classification of severe hypothermia, and that is a critical life-threatening situation. They are sort of in a state of suspended animation. Their body functions basically, they're slowed down to a snail's pace. They don't require much circulation or much oxygenation of their blood. Get the warming blankets on and the warming coils. Probably the most single greatest danger is cardiac problems and having heart rhythms that are abnormal.
Okay, you know where you are?
Don was moved to the intensive care unit, where the slow process of rewarming his body continued. His wife, Colleen, was at his bedside.
There he was, all wrapped up in blankets, and there was cloths around his head, and he looked so cold. And I was so worried, and I didn't know what to think.
Don's wife and daughter Julie stayed with him through the night.
I was looking at Dad on the bed, and he looked kind of like it aged real fast. He looked pretty haggard.
He was fully warmed up to a normal temperature within 24 hours, which really was a dramatic recovery. We were very surprised that Don didn't have additional injuries, given that he had been thrown in his truck about 65 feet down the avalanche path.
Uh-oh. For some reason, I lost connection with the player.
Looked at it, walked up on it, and looked the downhill side of it. That's when I saw the front bumper and the lug nuts from the truck. I was scared of what I'd find, but I had to go look. He was conscious. He was pretty much out of it. He didn't say much. His color was gray. His eyes were glassy.
I got over it, and it don't bother me anymore.
Next.
In a plan that includes rides to medical
$1,000 for my funeral and final expenses.
That's
Rates can never be increased, your benefits can never be decreased, and your coverage can never be canceled. Call 800-279-0828 now for your free information. Don't leave your loved ones with your debt. Call the number on your screen now and see how final expense coverage can help you. There's no obligation, and you will also receive information about a free prescription discount card. Call 800-279-0828. That's 800-279-0828.
And on the seventh day, you were given Walker. Walker, Texas Ranger. Now every Sunday from 6 to 10 p.m. Eastern on Get TV.
If someone you love is caught in an emergency, will you know enough to be able to help? That moment came for one mother on May 16, 1988, in the small town of Xenia, Ohio. All of the people involved have returned to help us tell her story.
Uh-oh, I exited out of there. I wasn't trying to, I was just trying to... Let's see... I was just trying to get the thing off, and then I exited out of there by accident. So now it's going to start at the beginning. Okay.
And I was so worried and I didn't know what to think.
Don's wife and daughter Julie stayed with him through the night.
I was looking at Dad on the bed. And he looked kind of like it aged real fast. He looked pretty haggard.
He was fully warmed up to a normal temperature within 24 hours, which really was a dramatic recovery. We were very surprised that Don didn't have initial injuries, given that he had been thrown in his truck about 65 feet down the avalanche path.
3 years have passed since the accident.
Guess it just wasn't my time to go. That's the only thing I can say. There are a lot of people involved in it. There ain't words to describe how you feel. It's just something else.
I was out in front of my house. Don came over and shook my hand and gave me a big hug and thanked me for everything I'd done for him. I felt proud and relieved.
I'd known Don for about 8 years. He'd give you the shirt off his back. He didn't say much. He just shook my hand.
1 week after the accident, Don was back on the job, plowing Teton Pass.
I figured if I didn't go back when I did, well, maybe I'd never have the nerve to go back up there again. After going back, well, it bothered me first couple of times passing under there, but I finally got over it, and it don't bother me anymore.
Next.
On your screen now and see how final expense coverage can help you. There's no obligation, and you will also receive information about a free prescription discount card. Call 800-279-0828. That's 800-279-0828.
And on the seventh day, you were given Walker. Walker, Texas Ranger. Now every Sunday from 6 to 10 p.m. Eastern on Get TV.
If someone you love is caught in an emergency, will you know enough to be able to help? That moment came for one mother on May 16, 1988, in the small town of Xenia, Ohio. All of the people involved have returned to help us tell her story. Every day, Jean Collins looks after her 7-year-old nephew, Brad, his younger sister, and her own 12-month-old daughter, Amanda. On this day, Amanda had an ear infection.
As the day progressed, her fever began to get higher. Amanda started to cry, and I went to pick her up, and that's when I called the doctor's office, and Amanda started going into her convulsion. When I talked to the nurse then, she said, hang up and call an ambulance. 911 was all I could think.
But Xenia had no 911 system. The nearest available 911 operator was 60 miles away in Cincinnati. She routed the call back to Xenia's one emergency dispatcher, Jay Smith.
Thank Police Fire Communications. Ma'am, listen to me now, please.
There was just a desperation in her voice that I'd never dealt with before, and it got my attention. I felt that I couldn't leave this lady. I had to deal with her and stay on the line with her no matter what.
Okay, get your baby on the back and make sure that there's nothing in the throat. Okay? And they're on the way. Tilt the head back. Place your mouth over the baby's nose and mouth. And breathe in. Breathe in until the chest rises. What's the matter now, ma'am? Ma'am? Okay.
When my Aunt Jean started screaming about Amanda, I got real sad, and I thought she was going to die.
Ma'am, listen to me, ma'am. You're going to have to try to clear the baby's throat. Okay? Okay, try to pull the timer out with your fingers. Okay, well, just go ahead and try that. Lay the phone down and then come back to me. Okay. Ma'am, did the chest rise? Okay, do it again. Okay. Okay, that's okay. Just get her breathing. That's the biggest thing right now, is to get her breathing. Okay, just keep doing that until she starts breathing on her own. Is she breathing?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, just keep with her and make sure she keeps breathing. I'm going to keep you on the phone. Responding fire unit, the mother has the child breathing shallowly at this time. Okay, now just stay with her. That's okay. That's okay. Just keep her breathing. That's the important thing. She's got her crying so much. She's got a good air exchange now. 25. Okay, just keep talking to her. Keep her breathing.
Jean's sister, Patricia Schinkel, had just finished her shift as a nurse at a local hospital.
I was on my way home from work to pick up my children at my sister's house, and I noticed an ambulance. And Leah and Michelle had just gotten home also, and they were getting out of their car. The ambulance pulls in front of the house, and I figure it has to be one of the 3 kids.
I'm sorry. Okay. That's good. You have got somebody that can open the door for the firefighters? Yeah. Okay. They're here. Okay. Just go ahead and you take her to them, okay?
All right, thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Amanda's high fever had caused the convulsions. Until the airway was unblocked, she could not get any oxygen in, not even with artificial respiration. Amanda had stopped breathing, but when examined at the hospital, she seemed to have suffered no ill effects. A year later, Amanda is a normal, healthy 2-year-old.
What Amanda had was a fever convulsion or a febrile seizure. Although this type of seizure is relatively common, the type of respiratory disturbance that Amanda had is very unusual.
Collins family is kept in touch with dispatcher Jay Smith.
Jay is so special. The city recognized him for what he did, and they invited us to come and see him receive his commendation. And
okay, I think they end the program a little bit early, so what I'll do is I'll go to Hot in Cleveland. Let's see. See, every day there's 4 episodes of Rescue 911. Now, Hot in Cleveland starts at 5 o'clock. Well, it looks like there was nothing left to show. Just the ending.
Hot in Cleveland is recorded.
Not interested in Hot in Cleveland. Let's see. Get TV. I think I'll do one more episode of Rescue 911.
And Edwin.
Wait a minute. I think I did this one already. The first one.
Today on Rescue 911, a high-stakes holdup.
This is a holdup. Don't shoot. I'll do whatever you want.
Dad! Sends terror through a small town.
Had a robbery and somebody's been shot.
Be there as medics assist the wounded and officers hit the street in search of the armed felons. Plus,
I was just trying to be brave, not panic.
a girl risks everything to save her brothers and sisters from their burning home.
Dad!
On Rescue 911.
69-year-old George Rosencrantz and his wife Emily ran a sporting goods store in Mesa, Arizona. The family-owned business had been an important part of their lives for almost 15 years. But all that changed on December 21st, 1991.
Emily.
Yes. For some reason, no customers were in the store.
What is the price on this model?
This is very unusual because usually on Saturday mornings we're busy. But fortunately, nobody was in the store.
George and Emily's daughter Judy and employee Rick Meyer are also working in the back of the store.
65821.
Here it is, $239.
Thank you, Emily. May I help you? This is a holdup. You've got to be kidding. Don't shoot. I'll do whatever you want. Get up front. Help me get the guns. Come on. Now get the guns out of the gates.
I saw my father's legs, wondering how he's doing because he was quiet. I didn't have any idea if he was still alive.
When we continue.
I was petrified. And the thought went through my head, what would my daughter do without me if I were to die? I just hoped and prayed they wouldn't come in.
If you
Come on, play. I was just fast forwarding it through the commercial.
Pass your medical exam with your health condition. Oh, that's the best part. No medical exam is
790828 now for your free information. Don't leave your loved ones with your debt. Call the number on your screen now and see how final expense coverage can help you. There's no obligation, and you will also receive information about a free prescription discount card. Call 800-279-0828. That's 800-279-0828.
Get TV is a Sony network.
Now zip it up. Hurry up. And get down.
I was petrified. I didn't make a sound. And the thought went through my head that what would my daughter do without me, for the rest of her life if I were to die.
No, come on. Get up, bro.
I just hoped and prayed they wouldn't come in.
Down. Put the hand on the back of your head now.
On that Saturday morning, Bob Ramsey was doing errands.
Just by coincidence, I passed this sporting goods store when these three guys ran out of the store with monkey masks on, carrying rifles and pistols. I knew right away what was happening. I had to stay focused and watch every step of where they went, so that these guys would be put away where they belong.
At 10:32 a.m., a call for help came in to Mesa Police Dispatcher Gary Moulton.
We've had a robbery and somebody's been shot. Please get somebody here quickly.
Stay on the line with me.
Okay.
Okay, they had a gun then, ma'am?
Yes, they shot those and they shot everybody.
All right.
There's one person really badly hurt. One person really badly hurt. Please come right away.
Okay, ma'am, stay on the line with me.
Okay, I'm on the line.
I was a trainee at the time I got the call, and the first thought was, oh my gosh, why me? Why not one of the more experienced dispatchers?
Where was this person shot, ma'am?
I don't know. Where's the shot? Where's the shot? Shot in the back. Shot in the back. They just left. They had shotguns and they shot everything.
Okay, ma'am.
Shooting all over the place.
All right, ma'am. Man, I've got the police and firemen coming.
Oh, thank God.
Their initial behavior was very cautious, but after a few seconds, they were too big of a hurry to even notice anything. They were just so busy unloading the vehicle. I decided to go back to the store because I didn't have access to a telephone.
As police officers began their investigation, the Mesa Fire Department arrived, led by paramedic Arnold Corneo.
That was a pretty serious wound.
Everything here?
And it looked like it had exited out his back into about a 3-inch diameter hole, just kind of a blowout type of wound.
Lieutenant Dan Day was the watch commander on duty that morning.
Anybody else hurt or injured? Or
The fact that they shot the clerk and they stole the weapons, it just really magnified everything. And I pretty much just shut the city down and put our focus to try to find these guys.
Dan, we just got to know where our suspects are. How's that? I saw the 3 guys run out of the sporting goods store.
I just thought he was trying to be helpful and was probably going to give me some information we maybe already had. And I'm pretty much being a little bit short with him. What do you need? What can I help you with? He said, well, I know where these guys are.
Sure, that's it right there. I said, hang on, let's get across the street over here.
There was no movement in the complex. It was pretty quiet. It was like everybody was either inside or gone. So I'm thinking the time it took him to drive back and we're 30 minutes behind, it's just a good chance we're not going to be there.
I've got that vehicle 800 South State on the east side of the street.
Gerald, can you get across the neighborhood and come up on the west side there through the alley?
just send all this concentration on this apartment, and I'm using all those resources, and my biggest worry is that they were gone.
Steve, just be real careful. He knows exactly what apartments are in, so just be on the lookout. They still have the shotgun.
My plan at that point, once we got secure, we'd just sit on it. Try to get a negotiator, try to find out the phone number, start doing utilities check, license plate numbers in the parking lot, and start processing our intelligence.
Okay, are you up in the driveway there so you can see the front door?
But I never got a chance to get that far.
You need to get back. You're right straight across from it, okay? That one will be coming from the top on foot. Yeah, so we got kids coming down the sidewalk, and I just want those people to stay inside.
One of the officers that I had sneaking up saw the door come open, and they just came out, just unannounced, just boom.
Next came out, this came out. One's wearing a red shirt.
That's them.
Are you sure?
That's it. That's it. Okay, the witness advised.
We weren't ready for him to come out. So at that moment, I was pretty nervous that something bad's going to happen.
Oh, right there, right there. Put your hands up. Put your hands up. Oh, there, right there. No. Right there, hold it, right there, stop. Oh, put it down. Stop right there.
The officer reached over to spray the bad guy and it squirted me, and immediately I couldn't see and I couldn't breathe. I was out.
The apartment's clear, and the weapons have been located. 10-4.
What Mr. Ramsey did was far beyond what's expected and what's asked, and I just thank God he wasn't injured, and I wouldn't recommend anybody take that much action without the training or the ability to protect yourself. I mean, the potential violence in this entire thing for everybody was extremely high.
69-year-old gunshot victim George Rosencrantz underwent surgery to remove his damaged spleen. During recovery, he suffered a stroke and has had to undergo extensive physical therapy.
We are thankful every day that he's okay. But it wasn't quick. It was a long, daily ordeal for him to recuperate.
The suspects were found guilty of armed robbery and aggravated assault and sentenced to prison. 7 months after the shooting, George was finally able to return to work. But the incident changed the way he does business.
I just was at the wrong place at the right time for the burglars, that's all. I had what they wanted, and I just don't want to press it. I learned quick. Once is enough. That's the top of the line right here.
For our safety, we all decided we're going to get rid of these guns, we're going to get rid of all the accessories that go with them, and completely do without them.
This real cutthroat industry. I think it's better that we got rid of them. We're going to be getting Girl Scout stuff in. We'll be the only distributor there in Mesa for that. So I think that's a better thing to sell than the firearms.
My wife and I have been married for 45 years, and I tell her I love her every single night now. I value each and every day that I get up and go at it again.
I just love them more than I ever have. You know, I don't know what I would do without them. I really don't.
I will only say that I went through 5 campaigns in World War II. I never got hit. I was missed many times. But civilian life is rough.
Next.
The first thought that I had was that the kids could be in the house. The whole house was ablaze. And I could hear them screaming.
Did you know Red Fox?
It's a bit more smoke, and I thought I better go check this over.
Crystal Darby was babysitting her 4 younger brothers and sisters.
I can save you! Lots of money with Liberty Mutual! We customize your car insurance so you only pay for what you need!
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty. And on the 7th day, we were given Walker. Walker, Texas Ranger. Now every Sunday from 6 to 10 p.m. Eastern on Get TV.
In the small town of Blowing Rock, North Carolina, volunteer rescue workers have a program that tries to prepare children for possible emergencies, but no one knows how they'll do when put to the test by the real thing. On a cold night 2 weeks before Christmas in 1990, 12-year-old Crystal Darby was babysitting her 4 younger brothers and sisters, while her mother and father were working on a new home just down the road.
My brother and sisters were in their bed, and my little brother, 2-year-old, he was sitting beside me watching TV with me. And then I smelled smoke, and I tried to follow where it was coming from, and it seemed like it was coming from the kitchen. I saw something, but it was just a little bit of smoke, and I just thought it was blown fuse. So I went back and sat down and watched TV some more. And then I smelled a little bit more smoke, and I thought I'd better go check this over. I looked, and it was coming out of the cracks of the wall, out of the corners of my dad's bedroom right beside the kitchen. I thought it was something with the cords, the electrical cords. Well, I just walked over to my dad's room, and I saw the smoke coming out from under the door. I only looked in there for like 2 seconds and closed it back up, but the door was hot. I shouldn't have opened the door. And then it was dead, the TV. And so I thought, maybe I should call my mom. It wouldn't work. I thought, oh my gosh, the TV's dead, the phone's dead. There was something bad wrong.
James, wake up! James!
I tried to wake up my brother first. He wouldn't wake up. My sisters woke up immediately.
Wake up, there's a fire. James.
I just said, I think there could be a fire and you need to help me wake up James, okay? Come on, let's go.
Wake up. Come on, wake up. What's wrong? It's a fire. Get out.
By then the house was filled with smoke.
Go, Alicia, go. Come on out, Alicia.
I was nervous, shaky.
Come on, we gotta get out.
I was just trying to be brave, not panic. I learned in school that if you're panicky, it's just going to take longer. My sister, she said stay in the truck. I saw a lot of smoke and it made me feel like crying. I tried to keep a close eye on him. But my brother, James, he ran. I said, James, come on out. Dad isn't here. I heard a thump. I didn't go in. I wouldn't take the risk. But I didn't know if he would come out or not.
James! James! James, what's that? James!
When he came back out, I said, James, don't ever do anything like that to me again. It was scary. I really loved that house. I felt a little scared it was going to catch on fire. When I saw the house catch on fire, I told them to stay in the truck, not get out unless something very bad happens. And then I ran down the quickest way to my other house. I could still hear them yelling at me not to go. I said, Mom, the house is on fire. Go get my brothers and sisters. Do everything you can. And she said, call 911.
Blowing Rock 911.
The first thought that I had was that the kids could be in the house. So I didn't see kids.
The 4 children were no longer in the truck.
The whole house was ablaze, and when I could hear them screaming, I thought they may be inside burning and screaming.
The Blowing Rock Fire Department was immediately dispatched to the scene.
I just gathered them all up, and I've never been so glad to see their little faces as I was that night. I just thinking what would have happened if she had come and got me first. Because when I got up there wouldn't have been any way to get them out.
There was fire throughout the whole house. I mean, it was ventilated out every window, through the roof. Nobody could have survived it.
Only 4 months earlier, firefighter Steve Suggreth had taught fire safety tips to Crystal's 5th grade class.
There's no question that if Crystal had not reacted properly, we would have had 4 fatalities. Those children would have died.
Every year in the small town of Blowing Rock, firefighters volunteer their time to teach fire safety to school children.
Good morning. Well, it's that time of year again. It's Fire Prevention Week, and I wanted to see what kind of progress we've made so far. How many of you have...
Firefighters Steve Suggreth and Angela Gratter have both helped to put out the fire at Crystal's house.
I love working with the kids, something I'm good at. If I thought if I could get through to one person, one child, that was worth it.
Why should we sleep with the doors closed in our bedrooms? Yes, ma'am.
Because of the smoke.
Because of smoke, that's right. And smoke is what kills.
They should know their exits, how to crawl out of the bed, stay low, and crawl on the floors because there's the poisonous gases.
Smoke is up high and the fresh air is down low.
You should fill the door. If it's hot, don't leave that way. And get out quickly, have a meeting place, and don't go back into the house. Let the firefighters do that because chances are you would be another victim that they would have to rescue.
The Chambers family recently got a chance to visit their local fire station.
Hey, pull that chain up there just a little bit.
Crystal had remembered what she had learned, and she was able to save their lives.
Leave the button right there. Go ahead. You good?
I think about how my little boy wouldn't sleep in pajamas for a couple of weeks afterwards because he wouldn't sleep in his clothes because he was afraid the house would burn down. And I just remember how thankful I felt that my kids were okay.
Okay. Let's see. It's like 8:53, almost 9 o'clock. Let's see. I guess this is just the end credits.
This is 911. Do you have an emergency?
Today on Rescue 911. Step into the shoes of a Las Vegas EMT unit as they hit the streets to save lives.
There absolutely was nothing we could do.
Feel the pressure. Race the clock. Live the emotion.
I think this is the only episode I haven't
Campers
put
trapped in
on.
a swamp filled with snakes and alligators wait in terror for him.
For more full episodes of Rescue 911 and Flipper, hit the big red button and subscribe. Peace out, YouTube.